What's up, everybody? If you've been following the channel, you've noticed that I've done a lot of Infinite Archive content lately. And I've been doing Infinite Archive content because I've been grinding for the Torc of the last Aylied King, because I've been really interested in what it's like, and I've wanted to put it on my Warden, my Dragon Knight, and my Templar, because I think that those builds would do really well with it. Maybe even the Necromancer. I don't know. We'll see. But while experimenting with it, while switching pieces in and out and checking different stuff, this is the build I've come up with for my Warden, and I'm having a blast with it. It's fun. I've been taking them to Battlegrounds and just crushing heads. I'm sure you guys will love it, so let's check it out. So here's my character sheet. I'm a Dark Elf. I'm almost always a Dark Elf, but again, fuck meta races. But if you really want to best in slot, I'm sure Orc would do phenomenal here, as well as Dark Elf. Khajiit would do really good. Imperial, of course, but pretty much anything that's going to give us that weapon and spell power or crit. Or reduce spell cost, as the Imperial does, and that's why I love Imperial, but we'll walk by that for now. So, I am running max health. My max health is at 32,000 because we have 50 into health, 14 into stamina. I have 20,000 stam. You can move this around, but I like running more health in PvP. We are running the Lover Mundus. I do this because of the tank meta right now, where everyone's just really beefy with their armor. So this sits us at around 11k pin before we're buffed up. And I am running Artaeum Takeaway Broth for my food, because of the fact that with the Torc we don't have a huge amount of recovery, because we don't get any other armor bonuses. And that's something I learned very quickly with these builds, is that the Torc taking away all the extra armor buffs really puts us in a weird spot. So we're running that. And as you can see, I've got our recoveries in a good spot right now. So let's get into skills. So for skills, I am running Growing Swarm for my flex spot on the front bar. You don't have to run Growing Swarm. You could run Cliff Diver. You could run, anything you really want here. I like this here because, one, it's just a set and forget DOT, lasts for 20 seconds, so 17,000 bleed over 20 seconds. 2, it inflicts them with minor vulnerability for the duration, so that's 20 seconds of increasing their damage taken by 5%. 3, it spreads to other players, which then gives them minor vulnerability. So that's fun, and it happens every 2 seconds, so throw this on a ball group. Of course, they're going to have a healer that's going to purge them, but this can just be annoying. And 4, and the biggest reason I have it, is Nightblade avoidance. You see a Nightblade come out of hiding, you cast this. As long as you cast it while they're going invisible, it will still hit them, and then it will just tick on them for 20 seconds, and it'll keep them away from you and your group. Second skill, Deep Fissure. I'm using the magic version for several reasons. Number 1, the second explosion out of the ground hits harder. 2, this causes minor breach, which makes us hit major and minor breach, which reduces their physical and spell resistance by 59.48 and 29.74 for 10 seconds. So not only are we giving them minor vulnerability, but we're giving them major and minor breach, so they're just going to start taking way more damage than they were anticipating. And it hits hard. The first hits for 9,200, and the second hits for 12,800, almost 13,000. It's a great skill in the magic version, and it doesn't interfere with our spammable. Our spammable is Wrecking Blow. This does just over 10,000 damage, but it gives us that major berserk for 3 seconds. And that increases our damage jump by 10%. So that's great, because this is what we're spamming when we're fighting. Executioner. It's an execute. That's all we have to say about it. Bird of Prey. This is the giddy up. This is how we move around. This is how we get the get down. It gives us snare immunity for 4 seconds, which is great in PvP. And it gives us minor berserk, which is the small version of the big buff we're getting from Wrecking Blow. So we're getting 10% from this and 5% from this. And then Dawnbreaker of Smiting. This is just a big hit. It stuns them. It does DOT. It's great. But basically what you do is, if you're running in, hit them with the old Growing Swarm, cast this down before you actually get up on them to engage. As long as everything's working, this will get them with vulnerability. This will give them major and minor breach. This will proc, and then you will have 10% more damage going. So you'll be doing 15% more damage and they'll be taking substantially more damage. So this front bar is just stacked with buffs and debuffs. It's great. It's fun. It's a fun time. Back bar, I'll be totally honest, most of these are flex spots, aside from I would not get rid of our Netch and our Polar Wind. Polar Wind is a big enough heal where we don't even need Resolving Vigor. I just like, since this is a in-the-shit fighter, I like having a stamina and a magic heal since I have the space for it. But if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. I have Frost Reach here to inflict them with Chilled and Brittle. But if you don't want to inflict them with Chilled and Brittle, you can swap this out with Crystallized Slab. And this is a great deterrent for bow ganks, which is a super popular thing right now. Bow gank's one of the metas at the moment. So this will just stomp them out because it gives you a massive shield and it reflects projectiles. But yeah, we have Vigor, we have Polar Wind. We all know what Vigor does. We don't have to walk through that. But Polar Wind, this instantly heals us for 11,000 health and then heals us for an additional 2,000 every 2 seconds, over 10 seconds. And it pulses out and heals us and an ally. So if you're in your group with a friend, this is also healing them. Frost Reach. This is, I mean, it's just a staple with Wardens. If you like to play a Warden, it does an upfront 7,000 frost damage, an additional 11,000 frost damage over 20 seconds. And enemies hit by the initial hit are afflicted with the chilled status effect. So this is great for us Wardens because most of our back bar stuff has things to do with chilled. So that helps. So Ice Fortress, of course, wrap a thick cloak of ice around us, giving us major resolve, so we're even beefier with minor protection. And the Blue Betty, because I like the Blue Betty. You can definitely swap this out for the Green Betty if you think you don't have enough stamina, but we just have a lot higher stamina recovery on this build, so I use the Blue Betty at the moment. And the Blue Betty, you want to keep this up because it gives us major brutality and sorcery, and that is a big benefit. So Permafrost is one of my favorite ultimates in the game. This is the flex ult. You don't have to have this here. Barrier would do really well here. As you can see, I have Siege Shield out because I'll put Siege Shield there if we're storming a lot of keeps. Revealing Flare is another good one to put in that spot so that you get the major protection at all times. Another 10% taken off. Like there's a lot of things you could throw on these bars that help. But that's the skills. So for our sets, for our champion points, I'm running very straightforward PvP champion points. Focus Mending, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms, Duelist Rebuff. Straight down the middle. For reds, we're running Boundless Vitality, Celerity, Pain's Refuge, Slippery. Get out of trouble. Help us take less damage when we're 1vxing. Move fast, have more health. All straightforward. For our sets, as I've been talking about, we are running the Torc of the Last Aylied King with Triune and the multi-effect enchantment of Recovery. And so this reduces our damage taken by 15%, adds 1337 weapon and spell damage, adds 500 magic and stamina recovery, but it disables all other item set bonuses, which means, see where it says red? Disabled by Torc of the Last Aylied King. So the fun part about this build is you can put anything from anything as long as you get the item weight correct, because then your passives will engage. So like this, I'm running 1 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light, heavy, medium, medium, heavy. So we're running 3 heavies, 3 medium, 1 light. So we go over to our armor passives. We have current bonus, reduces 4%, 4%, 3%. So we're getting the 1 piece off of those, we're getting the 3 piece off of these, and we're getting the 3 piece off of these. So with this build, you really need to make sure you have all 3 of your armor sets maxed, and that you have Undaunted Metal maxed, so that you can get that 6% as well. And that's what's really going to set you on the next rung of the bar. So for me, that's the thing with this set. Only things that matter are your traits and your weights. So this would be, if you needed more tankiness, this would be good reinforced. But when I had it reinforced, I just wanted more damage, so I switched it to an item piece that I had that was already in Divines. I am running one impin, I think 2 well fitted, reinforced legs, reinforced head, and 2 Divines. Now, so on these builds, the biggest pieces, and we'll just walk through this now, the biggest pieces that you want heavy is head, chest, legs, because they have the largest armor chance. Well, armor amount. So 2692, 2676, 2692. So if this was reinforced, it'd be like 3200. Like it goes above 3000, at least golden it does, and so forth. So these are the biggest pieces. And then the smaller pieces are the ones that you would want to run your medium and your light on. So legs, belt, hands, shoulder. And that's the way I fit that in. But you can definitely get away with more medium. But the way this sits right now, I'm happy with it. For our jewelry, I am running 2 of the recoveries. One is infused, one is triune. This came triune, doesn't have to be. If I had my choice, it would also be infused. I just didn't see a need to do that right now. And then this one is swift because we want to be able to run around very quickly. I am running a 2-handed maul with weapon damage enchant and sharpened to get that even higher pin double timed. And then my back bar is an ice staff sharpened with a frost enchant. So that is the entire build with it. I have 2 different battlegrounds I'm going to be adding in, and I'm going to put text on them so you know which one's which. One is before I swapped out to the recovery enchants, and then the other one is after I swapped out to the recovery enchants. And I felt that it helped a lot because, as you'll see in the one before there's the recovery enchants, I was doing I do a lot of damage in both. I lead the team, get great amount of kills, have a blast. One is I'm playing Chaos Ball, and I definitely grab the ball to just showcase that I can fight while holding the ball, just to really showcase the amount of like heals and sustain this build has. But I personally liked it more when I had the recovery than I did with the higher weapon damage. But as you'll see, when we're buffed and we swap back to our front bar, with just a betting edge up, we're at almost 5,500 weapon and spell damage. We have 20k spell and almost 20k physical resist. Our crit resist is low, but I haven't been ganked on this build yet, so it could prove me wrong. That's very true. But so far, I've had a blast. If you're getting ganked, I would throw some impin on there. But also, I run with a group that runs Rallying Cry, so I can't really speak on that too much. But if you are getting ganked, I would suggest probably swapping out the Divines with impins. But I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem at the moment because I haven't been hit up. But also, I always recommend if you're going into Cyrodiil, make sure you're running with a group. If you're running a build like this, if you're going to go solo, go gank. But this is the build. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for checking out. Thanks for supporting the channel, everybody. I love all of you for it. Here's the footage. Don't forget, if you're new, like, subscribe for new stuff. I'm always posting new builds and different like guides to things. I am going to finally get around to walking you guys through how to do all of the little bits of Vatishrands, because I've been asked a few times because I love to use the Void Pitch die, and my title is Of the Undying Song, which means I am a absolute deep state sweat and completely just ground out Vatishrands when it first came out. So I will do a little, the fastest guide I can, so you guys aren't there all day, on Vatishrands soon, so you can see how to do all of the little ins and outs of it. And yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for coming to me for your build advice. And remember, fuck doing the meta. Do whatever's fun to you. And if it's not fun anymore, don't play the game. It's a game, man. Find another game. It will be fine. It will be fun again in a week, I promise. just give it some time. And I don't care about the meta, and that's why I do these builds, because I don't think you have to do meta everything to enjoy. Anyways, thanks, guys.